Walt Disney Pictures is famous for creating excellent animations with an emphasis on fine details and stunning images. Disney has been at the forefront of animation technology and has continually producing visually breathtaking cartoon films. From the first Disney cartoon in the 1920s to more contemporary computer-animated films. I assume you were exposed to Disney cartoons when you were a kid. In the majority of our first impressions, Disney serves as a loyal friend who entertained us with adorable cartoon characters and fascinating story settings. It has also produced a large number of iconic characters that have gained cultural significance. Disney is also skilled at making characters that resonate with audience and have long-lasting appeal. From classics like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, to more modern creations like the Snow Queen Elsa and the Rabbit Officer Judy Hopps. This is true even though Disney has featured a wide variety of princesses, each with a unique personality while inspiring generations of young girls around the world. Disney cartoons have historically contributed to the construction of masculinity through their representation of male characters in a traditional and stereotypical way, especially by representing traits of strong bodies, bravery, and capability of leadership, etc. Firstly, speaking of physical strengths, Disney cartoons often provide male protagonists with physically strong appearances for emphasizing masculinity. These male protagonists are portrayed as being able to overcome obstacles with incredible strength and brute force. In the 1991 animated version Beauty and the Beast, when Bella accidentally wanders into the Beast's garden, the Beast appears to be powerful and intimidating, which immediately frightens the helpless Beauty. In contrast, Bella, who is supposed to be the protagonist of the tale, appears to be small and fragile in front of the Beast. In the 2001 movie Monsters, Inc., the main character Sullivan is appeared as a huge fluffy monster that is spooky enough to scare human kids. The 2012 animation Wreck-It Ralph features a similar masculine protagonist. Ralph the Big Guy is portrayed with exaggerated huge hands that can create great force to easily destroy buildings in the arcade game. As we can see, traditional male leading roles are almost without exception the embodiment of strength to play controllers roles than their female counterparts in the same movie. Next, we have independence and leadership. Several male characters in leadership positions as heroes and villains have appeared in Disney. In many of its best movies, it's clear that male protagonists frequently occupy leadership roles and hold positions of authority because they are natural leaders and are capable of getting things done on their own. For instance, even before watching the entire 1994 film The Lion King, audiences are guaranteed to know that Simba is destined to become the Lion King. As a male lion protagonist and the rightful successor to the throne, Simba learns important leadership skills from his father, the former Lion King Mufasa, and eventually takes on the responsibility of dominating over the Pride Lands after his father's death. The antagonist Scar in the movie is also a symbol of masculinity because he takes on the leadership role after the death of Mufasa. However, his irrational rule leads to the decline of the kingdom. Similarly, in Mulan 1998, although this film is led by a female protagonist, the theme of masculinity and leadership is explored in more depth. This story centers around a young woman who disguises herself as a man to take over his father's place in the army. Mulan battles to win the respect of her fellow soldiers, who at first regard her as incompetent throughout the film. Mulan, on the other hand, wins her admiration and establishes herself as an indispensable soldier using her bravery and leadership abilities. In another famous animated film, Sleeping Beauty, Prince Philip is depicted as a courageous and strong character. In addition to his physical power and bravery, Prince Philip is also shown to be protective of Princess Aurora. He is intrigued by Aurora when he first encounters her in the jungle and decides to go after her despite the fact that he has no idea who she is or where she comes from. In addition, despite knowing that it will be risky, he resolves to enter Maleficent's castle and steal Aurora. Without any support from the good fairies or anyone else, Prince Philip engages Maleficent in her dragon form in the decisive battle. He uses his own skill and determination to defeat her, which ultimately results in the breaking of the curse and the awakening of Aurora. It is crucial to note that more recent Disney films have made an effort to disrupt these conventional gender roles, despite criticism that Disney's portrayal of leadership as a masculine trait has deteriorated gender stereotypes. Here comes the next point we're going to talk, which is traditional gender roles. Several Disney cartoons feature male characters who adhere to traditional gender roles, such as being the family's defender and the object of female adoration. This reinforces the notion that men should be the dominant figure in relationships. Men are frequently portrayed as being decision makers who have a strong sense of obligation to their families and communities. Also, the majority of Disney's stories are set in a stereotypical patriarchal culture where women are considered to be manipulated by their persuaders and beloved men when it comes to romantic plots. Back to the previous movie Beauty and the Beast. Bella is persuaded by Gaston before she met the Beast. Gaston is an arrogant young man who believes that it's Bella's honor to be loved by him, since he's confident enough to have any other girls in this village. In some ways, Gaston's conception represents the ideology of a stereotypical male-dominated society that women are affiliations who take less initiations to choose mates, but have to be chosen by their suitors. In another Disney movie, Aladdin, the main character Aladdin is initially shown as a street rat who steals to survive, but later he develops into a hero who saves the kingdom and earns the heart of Princess Jasmine. Aladdin plays a classic gender role of a hero who saves Jasmine from battling the wicked Jafar. This supports the prevailing view that men should defend and protect women. Next, we have emotional self-control. Male characters in Disney movies often struggle with emotional control problems in various ways, as it's a common theme in storytelling. In most Disney films, male characters exhibit maturity, while others behave impulsively. Male characters are supposed to not play any vulnerability, especially in front of other men, because mood swings are perceived as a sign of weakness and is considered as typical characteristic of women. This is demonstrated by characters like Mufasa from The Lion King. After saving Simba from a wild beast stampede, his evil brother Scar forces Mufasa back into the stampede, where he is crushed to death. Despite in the midst of despair and extreme danger, Mufasa still remains calm and prays for his life to Scar. In another film, Monsters Inc., the male leading role Sully is shown as a highly trained scarer who works for a company that produces energy by gathering screams from human kids. Despite the stressful nature of his work, Sully rarely loses his composure and has the ability to act swiftly and intelligently to find solutions. His ability to manage emotions is evident. For instance, when he learns that his friend and co-worker Mike unintentionally brings a human kid to the world of monsters, Sully takes on command of the issue and collaborates with Mike to keep the young kid safe and help her to return to her own world instead of freaking out. Emotional control is even revealed on male characters who do not fit traditional masculine stereotype, like Marlin, a clownfish in Finding Nemo, who embarks on a dangerous journey to rescue his son Nemo. Marlin initially has trouble controlling his emotions as he is overprotective of Nemo and is anxious about his son's safety. He must face his fears and learn to control emotions throughout the journey in order to go over a number of challenges. Marlin is first frozen by terror when he and his friend Dory come across a group of jellyfish. However, he manages to calm himself down and come up with a plan to navigate through the jellyfish group safely. When Marlin and Dory encounter a whale that offers to help them to get to Sydney, it serves as another illustration of Marlin's emotional development. Despite his hesitation and fear, Marlin ultimately learns to trust the whale and direct the whale to their destination. By the end of the movie, Marlin has discovered how to control his emotions and has grown into a more capable parent. He can save Nemo and reunite with his kid in a large part because his ability to regulate his emotions. The ability to manage one's emotions, in other words, is a recurring theme in Disney films and it's frequently utilized to emphasize character development and evolution. Although some male characters initially have trouble managing their emotions, they frequently gain this skill which helps them to develop into more mature individuals during the plot advancement. Here comes the last point, emphasis on heterosexuality. Since Disney male protagonists usually act as rescuers and protectors of female characters, heteronormative values also serve to represent masculinity. In order to emphasize masculinity, Disney cartoons also support heteronormative ideas by depicting male characters as being attracted to and chasing females. In order to reinforce established gender roles and highlight heterosexuality, romantic connections between male and female characters are portrayed as the norm and are presented as idealized and desirable, while non-heterosexual partnerships or characters are avoided. For example, many Disney movies feature a prince who rescues a princess and falls in love with her, leading to a happily ever after ending. Heterosexual examples can be found in several classic Disney animations. For example, Bella and the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, Ariel and Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid, Cinderella and Prince Charming from Cinderella, Anna and Kristoff from Frozen, Rapunzel and Flame Rider from Tangled, Princess Aurora and Prince Philip from Sleeping Beauty, etc. These movies often portray the romantic relationship between male and female protagonists as the ultimate goal and reward for the characters' struggles and adventures. In addition to romantic relationships, Disney movies reinforces the idea that men and women have different roles and responsibilities in society, and that these roles should be based on their gender. Disney cartoons also tend to avoid showing same-sex relationships or non-heterosexual characters, which further reinforces the idea that heterosexuality is the norm and other forms of sexuality are not acceptable or desirable. As we are never exposed to any homosexual relationships or any topics regarding transgender in Disney animations. Instead, male characters are often shown as taking charge and making decisions, while female characters are portrayed as more passive and submissive. Male characters in Disney cartoons are also shown as being interested in activities that are traditionally associated with masculinity, such as chasing a romantic relationship, physical competition, adventure, etc. This reinforces the idea that being masculine means being tough, adventurous, and willing to take risks, while a typical desirable story ending would always be the hero and the heroine fall in love with each other and live a happy life after. Generally, the representation of heterosexual relationships in Disney cartoons has frequently supported traditional ideas of masculinity and reinforced the traditional gender roles. In conclusion, Disney's portrayal of masculinity in its animated series has mostly been conventional and supports established gender roles. Traditional gender norms and ideas continue to play a significant role in many Disney cartoons, despite recent updates and modifications to Disney's portrayal of masculinity, including more complex and diverse characterizations. Yet, Disney has also faced criticism for supporting unfavorable gender stereotypes, particularly in their marketing and merchandise targeting young boys. For instance, some have said that the focus on toy weapons, superhero costumes, and other stereotypical masculine merchandise generate false ideas that aggression and violence are part of being a man. Therefore, there are both positive and negative sides to Disney's portrayal of masculinity, which is diverse and multifaceted. In recent years, although Disney has made progress to provide more varied depictions of male characters, there is still work to be done in eliminating gender stereotypes.